For a mere month, Gregory and I embarked upon our romantic journey, yet it felt as if we had traversed countless years together. His presence was intoxicating, enveloping me in an addictive embrace. His gentle caresses upon my waist, the tender strokes through my hair, the lingering fragrance he imparted upon the pillowcase, and the tender warmth of his kisses, each became a cherished facet of our union. I deemed him my soul's counterpart, convinced I comprehended every aspect of his being. Alas, the truth would soon unravel a different narrative. My family took an immediate dislike to him. They called him awkward, unusual, and disturbing, casting an aura of distrust over him. My father, in particular, expressed disdain for a 32-year-old with no college education, working at an entry-level job as an assistant, and argued that such a man did not belong in the care of his daughter. He mocked Gregory's aspirations to go to medical school as mere fantasies. In defense, I extolled the virtues of his noble occupation as a surgical technologist, juxtaposing it against my father's mundane role as an accountant within a law firm. Tensions erupted into a heated confrontation, exacerbating the already strained relationship with my parents. Though they refrained from dictating my romantic choices, they vehemently disapproved of our liaison, decreeing Gregory persona non grata within their abode. Unperturbed by their animosity, Gregory enveloped me in solace, proposing the straightforward remedy. "Why not move in with me?" he suggested, his tone laced with warmth. Though tinged with apprehension, a spark of excitement ignited within me. Gregory's modest basement apartment, albeit snug, promised comfort for the two of us. It had already become our sanctuary, where we whiled away the hours until my midnight retreat to meet my curfew. Acting upon Gregory's advice, we clandestinely transferred my belongings while my parents were absent, leaving behind a note to elucidate my departure. Their response, as anticipated, cascaded in a deluge of admonitions. "You're making a grave mistake. It's far too soon to cohabit after a mere few weeks. You're oblivious to the essence of true love. We raised you better than this." But they failed to grasp our connection, the ineffable bond that tethered Gregory and me, transcending time and circumstance. In our hearts, we knew ours was a love destined by fate, a love that defied all odds. I deemed myself fortunate to have encountered my soulmate so early in life. In the comforting embrace of Gregory, nestled upon his futon, his gentle touch caressing my hair, he spoke of pruning the orchard of life, excising the rotten fruit. He posited that my family, while well-meaning, obstructed our happiness, urging me to sever familial ties for our freedom. Initially hesitant, I cherished my kin and their intentions, yet only Gregory seemed to grasp our truth. He assured me it was for the greater good, even crafting the message denouncing further communication with my family, thereafter shielding me from their influence. "Let me hold on to this," he proposed, stowing away my phone. "It harbors only negativity. I desire your happiness, our happiness." Amidst his work absences, loneliness engulfed me in our basement abode. Though I broached the notion of employment, he rebuffed, vowing to shoulder our burdens. Ensuring I awaited his return provided our happiness, he asserted, permitting me my phone for companionship, albeit purging my social media under the guise of shielding our love from familial sabotage. One Friday eve, adorned in a sleek suit, he presented a dainty white dress, an understated elegance. "Attire yourself," he grinned. "We venture forth." "Where to?" I inquired. "Leave concerns aside. It's a surprise." Slipping into the dress, tailored to perfection, I marveled at his discernment, having curated my wardrobe to his tastes. Hours of travel culminated in a modest chapel, bathed in neon hues of pink and blue. "We shall wed," he declared, parking the car, bound in happiness for eternity. Despite my trepidation at the sudden turn, we had discussed marriage, albeit as a distant prospect. Yet to delay, as Gregory maintained, would dishonor our bound souls. At the officiant's behest, he placed a simple silver band upon my finger, promising grandeur upon his ascension to doctorhood. The significance of a ring transcends its material form. Its essence lies in the symbolism it carries. For me, contentment resided in the union rather than the ring itself. A week later, my parents uncovered our clandestine nuptials. Amid Gregory's absence at work, a barrage of messages flooded my phone, bearing my parents' disapproval. How they unearthed the truth remained a mystery. Marriage so soon? You've known him but a month. What folly is this? Think of your education. Do not squander your future for such a man. How could you betray us? Return home ere you compound this folly. Our legal counsel can annul this misstep. He's manipulating you. Upon Gregory's return, my tear-stained eyes bore witness to his fury upon reading the messages. With a decisive stomp, he shattered my phone, a symbolic severance of ties to my former life. Our love, akin to a tree, he likened, requires pruning for growth, my angel. Enveloped in his embrace, I mourned the demise of my phone, a metaphorical farewell to the past. Though cognizant of its necessity, grief clung to me, akin to mourning a loss. In his embrace, time seemed to blur, my mind ensnared in surreal contemplation of severance from my familial roots. I yearned for wings, I confessed, tears spent, to soar beyond this turmoil. Would that bring solace? Gregory pondered, his expression inscrutable. Wings would suffice. I replied, a flicker of a smile betraying my sorrow. I'm capable of that, Gregory murmured, his tone laced with allure. The transition to slumber eluded my awareness, yet Gregory remained steadfast throughout the night, affording me tranquil repose against his steady shoulder. At dawn's whisper, he gently roused me, bidding farewell as duty called him away, promising a swift return. Upon his evening homecoming, an eager gleam danced in his eyes. Akin to the day, he unveiled my bridal attire. Laden with bags and a blindfold, he orchestrated a mystery to mend all woes. Perched on the futon, I acquiesced to his directive to inhale deeply. However, a sudden jab seared through my elbow's tender flesh. Despite my resistance, I succumbed to weariness, surrendering to a creeping lethargy. Awakening to a cacophony of sensations, a fog of disorientation cloaked my consciousness. As I emerged from the haze, the chill air embraced my exposed form, shrouded in a blanket. Attempts to rise were thwarted by searing tendrils of pain, threading a sinister path along my spine and arms, paralyzing me with dread. Gregory's soothing voice interjected, a brief respite amidst the torment, until his words unraveled the facade of safety. Careful, my angel, he cautioned, his touch a paradox of comfort and confinement. You'll disturb the stitches. Stitches? I stammered, horror dawning within me. Why do I bear such wounds? With icy digits, Gregory traced my features, his eyes alight with fervor, bearing the fruits of his madness. Your wings, angel, he exulted, his zeal uncontained. I've bestowed upon you wings. Speech eluded me as disbelief wrestled with comprehension, mirrored in my faltering protests. Hush now, he urged, silencing my dissent. I'll unveil the truth. His smartphone unveiled the macabre reality. My prone form, adorned with feathered appendages, a grotesque testament to his obsession. Isn't it splendid? Gregory inquired. Through trembling lips, I managed. What have you done to me? This is what you desired, angel. A bit of gratitude wouldn't hurt, Gregory chided, as though coaxing a reluctant child at the dinner table. He detailed the lengths he had gone to, laboring under the assumption of my appreciation. Anesthetics pilfered, stitch kits purloined, and human skin grafts clandestinely acquired from his hospital post, all components for his macabre creation. With meticulous care, he fashioned the semblance of wings, adorning them with feathers procured from the local craft store. My tears only seemed to fuel Gregory's agitation. His frustration swelled, igniting a dangerous temper. Amidst my pleas for release, for a return to the sanctity of my parental abode, he grew incensed. In an instant, Gregory's hand met my cheek with a resounding slap. The force of the blow momentarily eclipsed my vision. "We're wedded now, Angel. This is your domain," he bellowed, finger jabbing accusingly. I attempted to rise, the stitches tethering me to agony, but Gregory's grip on my hair forced me back down. Another needle pierced my arm, plunging me into oblivion once more. When consciousness graced me anew, dawn's light bathed the room. Pain seared through me, compounded by the constricting restraints encircling my wrists. Gregory sat beside me, his demeanor a blend of menace and false tenderness. I flinched as his hand neared, expecting a blow, yet he caressed my cheeks gently. "Shay, it's all right. I regret my earlier outburst. I understand you were shocked," he murmured. Yet, his next revelation sent shivers down my spine. With an air of triumph, he announced our impending parenthood. "No, please, not now. I'm not prepared," I implored, tears streaming. "You are ready," he asserted, undeterred. Despite my protests, he proceeded, heedless of my dissent. Once he concluded his preparations and readied himself for work, he reached for a syringe from his bag. I assured him of my well-being, pleading for him to leave the television on and expressing my affection with a forced kiss. The act repulsed me, a stark departure from the once cherished sensation, yet it was a necessary ploy to garner his trust if I harbored any hope of escape. Thankfully, he relinquished the syringe before departing, but not without sealing my lips with duct tape. I bided my time, waiting at least 30 agonizing minutes after his departure before daring to act. With his absence confirmed, I embarked on my desperate bid for freedom. Gritting my teeth against the pain, I strained against the ropes, each tug constricting my hands further until they throbbed, drained of color, while crimson rivulets seeped into the fabric beneath. Realization dawned that my efforts, however valiant, were futile without a sharp implement. Trapped, with no recourse but my own resourcefulness, I turned to the only tool within reach, my teeth. Tears mingled with the sweat of exertion as I gnashed at the ropes, enduring fresh lacerations as they dug into my flesh. Despite the agony, I persevered, each bite inching me closer to liberation. At long last, with a surge of determination, I brought my mouth within reach of my hands. Using the edge of the duct tape, smeared with my own blood, I laboriously freed my mouth, teeth sinking into the rope in a desperate bid for freedom. Each bite, each tear was a symphony of pain and hope, until finally, the bonds yielded to my relentless assault. Free at last, I wasted no time, donning sweatpants in haste, my torn back forbidding the luxury of a shirt. Agony coursed through me, a constant reminder of my ordeal, blood cascading from rent stitches. Nausea and weakness assailed me, a consequence of both anesthesia and deprivation. Yet I pressed on, propelled by sheer will. With faltering steps, I stumbled from the accursed abode, my makeshift wings snagging on the doorframe, carving a fresh wound. Up the concrete stairs I staggered, leaning heavily on the railing, each ascent a battle against pain and exhaustion. Frantically, I scurried through the house, reaching the main door and pounding on it, yet the echoes of my desperation met only silence. The absence of our upstairs neighbors, customary during daylight hours, added to my despair. As I turned to depart, a misstep sent me tumbling down the steps, my face colliding with the unforgiving cement, drawing fresh blood. Prostrate on the ground, drained of resolve, I contemplated surrendering to the pain, resigned to my fate. The screech of brakes jolted me back to awareness as a vehicle pulled into the driveway. Summoning what remained of my strength, I sought refuge behind nearby shrubbery, anticipation gnawing at my core. Through the foliage, I glimpsed Gregory's car rolling into view, dread knotting in my stomach as it vanished from sight behind the house. In mere moments, he would discover my flight, and his pursuit would commence. It was now or never. I could flee or remain shackled in his subterranean realm, subject to his nefarious designs. I chose liberation. Fear eclipsed pain and exhaustion as I sprinted toward the neighbor's residence. Knocking frantically with one hand and ringing the doorbell with the other, I was met by a disheveled elderly gentleman whose initial irritation transformed into shock at the sight of my bloodied and disheveled state. Wordlessly, he ushered me inside, securing the door behind us and drawing the curtains. Without inquiry, he dialed emergency services, offering me a blanket for modesty as I settled into a chair, mindful of the myriad stitches crisscrossing my body. Just as reassurance of imminent aid reached my ears, I glimpsed him. Gregory, peering through the sliding glass door, his visage contorted not only by rage, but by an ominous malevolence, his eyes locking onto mine with a silent vow of retribution. The old man told me to run and boldly stood between Gregory and myself. Hastening to the front door, I fumbled with the lock, wrenching it open as a cry and a thud echoed from behind. The valiant old man's defiance meeting its tragic end. I dashed across the front yard and onto the road, my bare soles protesting against the sharp pebbles. My cries for aid echoed through the air, each plea tearing at my parched throat, yearning for any sign of rescue. Gregory's approach was silent until his grasp seized the makeshift wing he had crudely affixed to my form. The sickening sound of tearing flesh accompanied the detachment of the wing, followed by a violent jerk of my head. As he yanked at my hair, a savage blow to my skull sent my vision spiraling into darkness, only to be revived by the searing heat of the asphalt against my raw wounds. Standing over me, Gregory's weight bore down on my throat, constricting my airway. "Till death do us part, Angel," he growled, his grip unyielding. "And that will be the only parting." I clawed desperately at his hands, gasping for air, clinging to the hope of seeing my family once more. In an instant, a deafening blast shattered the silence, reducing Gregory's head to a grotesque pulp. As air rushed back into my lungs, I was drenched in the thick, warm cascade of his blood. The elderly man gently clasped my hand, setting aside his shotgun. Though I tried to speak, he silenced me with a soft gesture. The distant wail of sirens signaled the end of my torment, and I surrendered to the solace of pain and exhaustion, knowing that my ordeal had reached its conclusion. Awakening in the hospital, liberated from the burden of false wings, I found solace in the presence of my parents by my side. Together, we embarked on a journey of physical and emotional healing. The elderly savior, too, lay hospitalized, his sacrifice acknowledged as he convalesced from a minor brain hemorrhage. My family's swift forgiveness and unwavering support became my beacon of hope. Yet, the scars etched upon my back, resembling the wings I once yearned for, serve as a daily reminder to trust none but myself and my kin.